I'm going to go over four tips on how to sell a domain name today. Hey, Chris Zuiker with Media Options, help companies acquire the raw unfiltered version of the brand, brokering some of the best domains on the planet. Check it out, mediaoptions.com. Check out my daily podcast at chriszuiker.com, my YouTube channel. I do a lot of videos like this one with tips into selling domain names, valuations, all that good stuff in marketing. And my daily podcast has a lot of stories on negotiating and just domain names. But I'm going to give four tips today, okay? I'm going to give four tips today because I was speaking with a domain investor this morning, and it's like, yeah, you know, he's kind of making a couple different mistakes, that had some pretty big consequences. So my first tip is that, okay, first of all, when we talk about selling a domain name, I have three V's, okay? The three V's are visibility, valuation, and viability. Visibility comes down to getting your domain name in front of people, right? I mean, one of the hardest things in the domain industry is that I think in branding and marketing on the flip side, okay, there's domain investors and there's people who are buying them. And for buyers is that they don't know it's even available. Like it's all about their creativity and what they can think of. And it's amazing how many domain names we've sold that have sold just because it's just pure visibility. Like they just came across, we have a relationship with them. The domain pops up and like, yeah, you know, that's a good domain. That could work. That's something as far as what we're looking at, okay? So those are the three V's. I go over those in a couple different of my YouTube channels and my YouTube videos. So check them out, okay? Check those videos out. But for today, that's not one of the four tips. It's intertwined in the four tips, okay? But the first tip is this: get with the right person. Get with the right person. Now, this individual had reached out to some salespeople. And the salespeople were like, yeah, I forwarded it to the person in the marketing team. And hey, by the way, don't bother me again. And so my advice to him was like, listen, like I'm a salesperson, okay? I'm it. Like I've done it for 20 years. But like you're talking to the wrong person. You're talking to the wrong person. In many companies, like the sales team and the marketing team are like, they're going back and forth, okay? Marketing's blaming sales and sales is blaming marketing. And so a lot of times there's not this healthy relationship. And even when there is a healthy relationship in the market team, their marketing is like, you know, you're not going to tell us what to do. And so in a certain sense, when opportunities come across the board, I mean, they just, they're just not going to listen. Or if they do come across, I mean, listen, they can get it in front of the right person. And there are times when I will reach out to a salesperson just because I just can't get a hold of the marketing person. Like they're just not responding or something. But in general, you got to make sure you're getting the right person. I mean, if you're getting with the wrong person, many times what happens in my outreach is I'll reach out to maybe 3 or 4 people in a company, and like the junior level marketing person or IT person will come back and say, not interested, no thanks, don't email me ever again. But then I'll get a note back from the founder or the CEO saying, hey, like, what's the price? Let's talk, let's set a meeting up. And so that right person is a person who has an interest in the decision, who has skin in the game to what you're offering. Okay, and this really goes with any single product. Okay, we're trying to market let's say an outreach, anything. Okay, like any product that you're trying to outreach. If you get the wrong person, I mean, they're gonna it's easy to say no, but they have no authority to say yes. Now, I could go, I think I'll do a video next week all about timing, but how timing really relates back to the journey of the founder, but more importantly, like why some big companies pass on the perfect domain for them. A domain that could supercharge the marketing, could have 2x, 10x, 20x, 100x return for them, and yet they pass on it. Now, there's a reason why they pass on that, and it's psychological, and I'll go over that, okay? But for now, make sure you're the right person, and typically it's not the salesperson. Stick with marketing, sometimes legal, sometimes IT, very, very, very often not IT. But know the domain that you have. If it's not a premium domain name and you reach out to an executive, I mean, it's dead on arrival. So I mean, you gotta with the right quality domain name to the right person, there's a match there. If you get that wrong, you're not going to sell it. Okay, second thing, selling domain names, move on. You have to know when to move on. You have to know when to respond. Many times I get people, comments from people that kind of reach back out to me saying, hey, I got this response. I'm like, just move on. Don't respond. Just, some emails and responses just don't deserve a response. It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your energy. It brings you down, okay? And this is just, I think, just a general outbound outreach thing. But you got to know when to move on, and especially if the person doesn't have authority, okay? So what's your strategy behind it? Once again, let's say you can't get a hold of anyone in the marketing, and you're reaching out to someone in sales, and they say, okay, yeah, let's say they say, no way, no thanks, get lost, don't email me again, the company's not interested. Well, know their position. And if their position is such that they don't have authority to say, not company's interested, move on to somebody else, okay? What's your strategy in reaching out to them? But don't dwell on stupid responses. Don't dwell on stupid answers. And just move on. Right. Third tip in a selling domain name is the right platform and knowing your platform. Now, there's some people who reach out to me. They're like, I tried to... I connect with someone on LinkedIn or on Facebook, and as soon as I connect with them, I sent them a message saying I got the perfect domain for them, and they said get lost, and immediately they blocked me. And I'm like, yeah, what'd you expect? Of course. What's the point of these platforms? Okay, there's a strategy for each of these platforms. Okay, LinkedIn, the strategy obviously is to get as many contacts as you possibly can. And but not necessarily, you got to understand how you sell on these platforms. If you connect with someone and the first thing you do right off the bat in 30 seconds is try to sell them something, people don't like that, and they will just unfriend you and block you. Now, if you use that strategy, you connect with them, and then you're using that to get the message out there for domain names and seeding them in your feed, well, guess what? You're going to see them, they're going to start a relationship, they're going to get to know you, and then the timing is right, you can pitch them. You have to think strategically about this, and I see this happen over and over again. It's just the wrong thing. Now, I've seen some people do that just really good with me, and what they do is they'll come back and they'll like my stuff, comment, and then boom, they hit me up with, hey, I've got this domain name, what do you think? What's the valuation? Can you do a quick domain appraisal for me? And the reality is that they built goodwill with me. They built goodwill because they've helped me out. They shared, and by such, I help them out. I love to help people out, but you got to do it the right way. You got it on the right platform. And many times, LinkedIn, I'm not as big on Facebook, although I do have a channel there. Facebook is a little bit odder to me in really hitting the right person, but you can do it. You can do it. It seems more personal. I don't know. I'm on it. I try it. I love LinkedIn. But just understand the limitations to that platform and don't do it the wrong way. Make sure you're getting with the right people, and make sure you're leveraging it. Part of the strategy there for you should be to get contacts and then leverage those contacts with your feed, and then reach out at opportune moments after you've built some rapport with them. They've seen you, and it makes sense. Okay. Actually, that's 3. I'm going to leave it at 3 today. I said 4, but I kind of hit right platform and social media all in one. With social media, I'd say just make sure that your posts make sense. I see a lot of people who post things, especially domain names, and then the domain name has a picture that just first of all turns a lot of people off. Maybe there's immodesty in it. I don't know. I've seen a lot of different things. It just doesn't make sense. Make it shareable. Make it so people want to share it. There's a couple different approaches out there, and just very different approaches. My approach is I keep it very simple. It's one line. It's the fact that, hey, we're broken this domain name exclusively. It just makes it easy to share, and by such, I get a lot of shares. I got a lot of views on it. I might get anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 views on one of my posts. I might get, I've got one series of posts that get 50,000 to 40,000 views on LinkedIn consistently every single day. Okay. Have a strategy behind it. Keep it simple. Make sure if you're posting a domain name, it's shareable. And lastly, remember the 3 V's: visibility, valuation, and viability. Listen, if you get the valuation wrong and you're asking $2 million for it, and your domain name is worth maybe $2,000, you're never going to sell it, okay? You're never going to sell it because, and the reason is because it attracts companies that will pay $2,000. Great domain names attract companies that'll pay $1 million, 6 figures, high 6 figures, okay? It attracts them because it's the value that it brings. And by and such, if you have a made up brand, it doesn't attract it. Now, can it happen? It can happen. It can happen. It happens quite a bit. I shouldn't say happen, but it happens. And you hear the stories out there, but don't like those stories are few and far between, although they stick in our minds. I mean, valuation is super, super important. And then validity comes down to, or validation, make sure the company is the right company, make sure the person is the right company. Hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed these 4 tips today on how to sell your domain name. I don't normally do these, so I'm more talking about the branding, but I thought I'd share this. I had a good talk with this person this morning, and in general, I'd like to help the community out a little bit. So if you found value in this video, share it up. Go to chriszuiker.com, check out my podcast. Make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn, and you just got done listening to another episode of .com Strategies. Check us out online at chriszuiker.com and at mediaoptions.com.